As I stood at the back of the classroom, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. The chatter of my classmates filled the air, but my mind was racing with thoughts of how the day would unfold. It was one of those typical Lowe's Angels days, sunlight streaming through the window, the warmth enveloping us like a cozy blanket. But for me, there was no comfort that day. I was about to witness something that would change my perspective forever. Mr. Thompson, our math teacher, walked in with his usual air of authority, ready to tackle the day's lesson. I had always found him to be a bit overbearing, but today he seemed particularly agitated. As he began to write the equation on the board, he caught sight of Diego, a new student from Mexico who had just joined us a week ago. Diego had a thick accent, and his conversations often danced between English and Spanish. "Diego," Mr. Thompson called out sharply, "why don't you try speaking in English for once? This is America, not some Spanish-speaking country." The room fell silent. My heart sank for Diego. I could see the color drain from his face as he shifted uncomfortably in his seat. We all knew he was trying his best to adapt, yet Mr. Thompson's words hit hard. It wasn't just an attack, it felt like an affront to who Diego was. "Look, it's not that hard," Mr. Thompson continued, a smug smile creeping onto his face. "You might learn a thing or two if you actually use the language here." I could see the anger and humiliation written all over Diego's face. In that moment, a calm but firm voice inside me shouted, "Enough is enough." I couldn't just sit back and let it happen. With a deep breath, I raised my hand. "Mr. Thompson, I think it's important to respect everyone's background. Diego is trying, and he deserves support, not mockery." The entire class shifted their attention to me, the tension palpable. I could feel my palms sweat as I glanced at Diego, whose eyes were wide with surprise and gratitude. Mr. Thompson paused, his expression darkening. "And who asked for your opinion?" he snapped back, a hint of irritation in his tone. "I did," I said, my voice steadying. "We all did. We're supposed to be a team, not tearing each other down." Laughter erupted around the room, not at Diego, but at the absurdity of the situation. I felt a spark of hope. Maybe I wasn't alone in thinking this was wrong. "Even if we struggle with our words, we're learning together," I added, feeling the weight of my classmates' support behind me. Mr. Thompson's face turned a deep shade of red, a mix of anger and embarrassment. He glanced around, noticing for the first time that we weren't all in favor of his bullying. "Fine," he fumed, "if you all want to defend him, that's your choice. But remember, in my class, we speak English." The bell rang, signaling the end of the period. As everyone shuffled out, Diego turned to me, a grateful smile breaking through his earlier despair. "Thanks," he said quietly. "I didn't know anyone would stand up for me." I shrugged, feeling a mix of pride and relief. We've got to look out for each other, right? That day, I learned the power of standing up, not just for others, but for what was right. And as we walked out of the classroom together, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of our shared journey, a journey where respect and understanding could bloom in even the most unexpected places. The next day, I entered the classroom with a newfound determination. Diego had become a friend overnight. The bond we shared from that moment was unbreakable. As I took my seat, I noticed a shift in the classroom atmosphere. My classmates were speaking quietly, sharing whispers of support and camaraderie. Diego sat beside me, a noticeable spark in his eyes. The morning began without Mr. Thompson, who seemed to be avoiding any confrontation. Instead, we were met by Ms. Carter, the vice principal, who'd come in to cover. She had a warm smile and a genuine aura that instantly lifted the room. "Good morning, everyone. I'm here to help you all today, so let's make it fun," she said enthusiastically. Her presence was a welcome change, and the room buzzed with excitement. As soon as Ms. Carter began her lesson about fractions, I took the opportunity to turn and speak to Diego, who was focused intently on the board. "So, how do you feel about yesterday? It was pretty intense, huh?" He smiled, his confidence slowly returning. "I was scared at first, but I feel better now. What you did meant a lot," he replied, his voice softer but filled with gratitude. We continued to chat, sharing jokes and making each other laugh. The laughter spread through the room, and even Ms. Carter couldn't help but join in. "Okay, class, let's break into groups for a fun activity," she announced. This caught everyone's attention, especially Diego's. "I want you all to teach each other something you know. It could be about math, culture, or any skill you have." The class erupted with enthusiasm. As we gathered into small groups, I realized that the power of communication was bringing all the students together, regardless of their backgrounds. In our group, Diego shared stories about traditional Mexican food, captivating everyone with his passion. And the best part is the celebration. We have parties with music, dancing, and lots of food," he exclaimed, his face alight with enthusiasm. As he spoke, I noticed students from different backgrounds listening intently, asking questions, and sharing their own experiences. The classroom transformed into a melting pot of cultures, and laughter echoed around us. There was something beautiful about learning from each other. It felt like we were bridging gaps instead of widening them. "Have you tried tacos with spicy salsa?" one of our classmates asked, eyes wide in excitement. Diego nodded enthusiastically. "Absolutely, you have to add lime for the best flavor." The conversation flowed like a river, erasing lines of division that had once seemed insurmountable. We ended the activity sharing our different dishes, each story laced with a unique flavor of its own. As the period came to an end, Ms. Carter praised our teamwork, her smile growing wider. "You all did wonderfully today. Remember, we're all different, but that's what makes us strong. Keep supporting each other." Walking out of class, I felt a sense of unity among us, one that sparked hope in my heart. I turned to Diego and said, "You see, we're all in this together." "Yes," he grinned, "and I feel like I belong now." That moment solidified for me the importance of standing together. In that classroom, we weren't just students, we were a community. And as we left, I couldn't help but feel that our voices, united, had the power to change not just our classroom but the world around us. The weeks that followed were transformative. Mr. Thompson seemed to have taken a step back, perhaps realizing that his authority could be challenged. We would often have Ms. Carter step in for him, and with her, the atmosphere was always uplifting. My friendship with Diego blossomed, and each day, we found new ways to support each other. One afternoon, as we were walking home, Diego confided, "I've always wanted to speak English perfectly, but it's hard sometimes. I feel embarrassed." I nodded, understanding his struggle. "We've all been there, Diego. Just keep practicing and you'll get there. You're already doing great." His face lit up. "Thanks, man. That means a lot." After school, we gathered at a local park with some classmates. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in rich oranges and purples. We played soccer until exhaustion forced us to collapse on the grass, laughing and sharing our dreams. Amidst the laughter, I felt a surge of gratitude for this newfound camaraderie. We were no longer just peers, we were a team. It reminded me of how powerful it was when everyone rallied behind each other. Suddenly, Diego stood up, a spark of inspiration lighting his eyes. "I want to show everyone how to make tacos, my mom taught me." Excitement rippled through our group. "Let's do it," someone shouted. Plans quickly formed for a taco night at my house, and before I knew it, we were all set for a culinary adventure. The following Saturday, the backyard filled with the vibrant sounds of laughter and chatter. Diego took charge, teaching us how to prepare the ingredients, slicing tomatoes, chopping cilantro, and of course, mixing that spicy salsa. Each step was a lesson, but it was also a celebration of friendship and culture. While cooking, I noticed Diego's confidence grow. He laughed and joked, explaining the significance of each ingredient. His passion was infectious, pulling everyone in. "You have to believe in your roots," he said, showing us how to roll tortillas like a pro. As the aroma of sizzling meat filled the air, I looked around at my friends, realizing how far we had all come together. The mockery that once tried to silence us was now overshadowed by mutual respect and understanding. Soon the food was ready. We sat around a makeshift table, plates brimming with colorful tacos. As we took our first bites, there was a moment of silence, each of us savoring the flavors, appreciating not just the food but the effort and love behind it. "This is amazing," one friend exclaimed, and the compliments flowed like the salsa we'd made. "Well, you can thank Diego for that," I said, nudging him playfully. Everyone chimed in, showering him with praise, visibly boosting his spirit. I could see the pride swelling within him, and it warmed my heart to witness his transformation firsthand. As the night progressed, we shared stories, dreams, and laughter, creating memories that would last a lifetime. Diego had stepped out of the shadows of doubt, and in that moment he shone. And while the sun dipped beneath the horizon, I realized that we were not just a classroom of students, but a community, one that had learned the value of respect, acceptance, and the beauty of our differences. In our unity, we found strength, and together, we continued to grow. As we cleaned up, I knew that this experience would stick with us forever. It was a lesson that transcended language, a lesson about humanity, connection, and the power of standing tall together. As the weeks turned into months, the positive shift in our classroom became even more palpable. Mr. Thompson's absence of harsh comments toward Diego was notable. I couldn't tell if it was because of our taco night or the pressure from the administration, but there was a new tension in the air, one of cautious respect rather than fear. One chilly Friday morning, as I walked into class, there was an unusual buzz among my classmates. Curiosity bubbled inside me as I took my seat. Diego was already there, visibly excited. "What's going on?" I asked him, my attention piqued. "Mr. Thompson is supposed to announce a new project today, something big," he said, his eyes wide with anticipation. As the bell rang, Mr. Thompson entered, looking unusually energetic. "Good morning, class," he boomed, a surprising smile on his face. "Today, I have an announcement that will change the way we approach our studies." The room was filled with murmurs. Just as I was about to think something positive might actually come from him, he continued, "We are going to do a group project on cultures around the world. Each group will present a different country." Excitement rippled through the classroom, and I saw Diego's expression shift from cautious to thrilled. "This could be our chance," he whispered, his enthusiasm infectious. As we broke into groups, Diego and I quickly paired with a couple of friends. "Let's represent Mexico," Diego suggested, beaming. "Of course, who knows more than you?" I replied, and everyone laughed. In the following weeks, our project came together beautifully. Diego dove into researching aspects of Mexican culture, food, traditions, and the history behind it all. Our group met regularly, brainstorming and combining our ideas. During our preparations, something remarkable happened. Diego grew more confident, not only sharing his heritage but also leading discussions. He taught us about Dia de los Muertos, the significance of family gatherings and vibrant festivals. I could see his leadership manifesting as he encouraged our classmates to participate, regardless of their backgrounds. On the day of the presentation, the classroom was buzzing with energy. I watched as each group presented, sharing unique elements from their chosen cultures, and a surprising sense of camaraderie filled the room. When it was finally our turn, I could feel the nervous excitement coursing through me. Diego took the lead, his voice steady. "Today, we're going to take you on a little journey through Mexico." As he spoke, I could see the admiration from our classmates. The way he described the rich colors of the festivals, the deep meanings behind each tradition, and the essence of family. He was a storyteller, drawing us all into his world. The energy in the room shifted. With each slide of our presentation, I felt our classmates leaning in, engaged and respecting Diego's story. It was incredible to witness his confidence shine. After our presentation, the applause was overwhelming. It felt like a collective acknowledgement of our hard work and of Diego's journey. Mr. Thompson stood there, uncharacteristically quiet, nodding appreciatively. Once the presentations wrapped up, Ms. Carter popped in, visibly impressed. "This was fantastic. I'm so proud of all of you. It's moments like these that remind us of the beauty in our differences." As the class dispersed, Diego approached me, his face glowing. "I can't believe we did it." I grinned, unable to contain my pride for him. "You were amazing. You shared your culture in such a beautiful way." "Thanks," he said, glancing down. I didn't feel scared or embarrassed this time. In that moment, I realized how much we had all grown, not just Diego, but the entire class. We were more than just students. We had become a family, learning and celebrating one another. That day marked a turning point, not only for Diego, but for all of us. We had proven that standing together could change perceptions, build understanding, and create a sense of belonging for everyone involved. And as I walked out of that classroom, I felt a sense of hope that resonated deeply within me, knowing that every story mattered. The months rolled on, and the positive changes in our classroom transformed into a broader movement within the school. Students were starting to speak up, challenge stereotypes, and support one another more openly. It felt like a proud moment to witness classmates coming together, breaking down barriers that once seemed unbreakable. As the school year approached its end, Ms. Carter announced the school's annual Diversity Week. "We want to celebrate all the cultures in our community," she said with enthusiasm. "Each class will host an event, and I want you to think about showcasing what you've learned about each other." The idea sparked an immediate excitement in our group. "We could do a food fair. Everyone can bring a dish from their culture," Diego suggested, his eyes gleaming with enthusiasm. "Yes, a potluck where we can share our backgrounds," I added, already seeing the wheels turning in my classmates' minds. We began planning, and the support from everyone was astonishing. It was clear that the sense of unity we had built together could extend far beyond our classroom walls. As preparation began, students collaborated to share ideas. Some brought traditional dishes from their families, while others created decorations representing their cultures. The buzz throughout our school was infectious. Students began discussing how they could reflect their traditions creatively, eager to showcase their identities. On the day of the event, the cafeteria was transformed into a vibrant tapestry of colors and smells. Tables overflowed with dishes from every corner of the globe: sushi, empanadas, baklava, and so much more. The aroma of spices filled the air, drawing everyone in. Diego and I set up our station, proudly displaying beautiful tacos alongside colorful papel picado decorations that he had created with our classmates. "It's like a mini festival," he exclaimed, excitement radiating from him. As the event officially kicked off, students wandered from table to table, tasting diverse foods and chatting about the stories behind each dish. Laughter and smiles filled the room. It became a celebration of connection, not just through food, but through shared experiences and understanding. As people gathered around our table, I watched Diego come alive. He was enthusiastically explaining the tradition behind Dia de los Muertos as he handed out samples of our tacos. His confidence shone, and for the first time I could see he wasn't just a student sharing a dish. He was a cultural ambassador, sharing a piece of who he was. "This is incredible," one student said, savoring the flavor of the taco while listening to Diego's passionate explanation. Others nodded, laughing and engaging in discussions about their families and traditions. The event created ripple effects that we hadn't anticipated. Teachers noticed the change among students, seeing how much we had all grown. Conversations about culture in the classroom flourished, and unity began to permeate our school community. As the day came to a close, Ms. Carter gathered everyone together for a debrief. "Today was an incredible success," she said, her eyes sparkling with pride. "You've all done a remarkable job showcasing the beauty of diversity." The applause was loud, but the best part was seeing the smiles on everyone's faces, especially Diego's. He stood beside me, grinning from ear to ear. In the following weeks, the momentum continued. Our school started a cultural club, encouraging students from all backgrounds to join and share their experiences openly. I watched as Diego took on a leadership role, inviting others to contribute their stories and helping them feel welcomed. It was astonishing to see the transformation. The actions we took in that classroom had sparked longer-lasting changes, and we were all a part of it. That spring day marked a significant chapter not just in our school, but in each of our lives. Knowing I had contributed to this shift filled me with a sense of purpose. We all learned that standing tall for each other created a community where everyone belonged, a space to celebrate our differences and forge meaningful connections. As I walked home that day, I thought about how far we had come together and couldn't help but feel excited about what the future held for us. Through understanding and support, we had laid the foundation for a brighter, more inclusive world, one connection at a time. As summer approached, I reflected on the past year. The events during Diversity Week transformed not just our school, but shaped me as a person. With Diego's friendship leading the way, I felt more connected to the diverse tapestry of humanity, understanding the beauty in our differences. One afternoon, as we packed up our things after school, Diego turned to me with a serious expression. "I've been thinking about how we can keep this going next year. The cultural club is great, but I want to ensure we reach more students." "Absolutely, we can brainstorm some ideas over the summer," I replied, enthusiasm bubbling within me. "Maybe we can organize community events or workshops." His eyes lit up. Yes, it'd be amazing to involve parents too. Imagine the stories they could share. We started discussing our options, jotting down plans for everything from community potlucks to cultural storytelling sessions featuring students' family traditions. Each idea felt like a thread weaving us closer together. That summer, our friendship solidified as we spent our days hanging out at the park, exploring local cultural festivals, and even volunteering at community outreach programs. We learned not just about food and customs, but about the shared struggles people faced when trying to find their place in the world. One sunny afternoon, while enjoying ice cream with Diego, I shared an idea that had been brewing in my mind. What if we organized a field trip to a cultural museum? It could give us a chance to learn officially about different cultures while also having fun. "Great idea," Diego agreed, already picturing the possibilities. We could take a large group of students and make it a day of learning and bonding. With the enthusiasm fueling our excitement, we reached out to Ms. Carter for guidance and support. She was thrilled about our initiative and agreed to help us reach out to local museums. After numerous emails, we secured a date for our trip to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, famous for its diverse exhibits. As the trip day approached, the excitement among students grew. We had garnered a lot of interest, with more students signing up than we initially anticipated. The cultural club buzzed with energy, and we ensured everyone felt welcomed, promoting the event through posters and announcements. Finally, the day arrived. The bus was filled with laughter and chatter as we traveled to the museum. I sat next to Diego, who couldn't contain his excitement. I can't wait to show everyone the exhibits on Mexican art. Yes, plus I'm looking forward to hearing about the other cultures represented, the sculptures, paintings, and stories that come with them, I added. Once we arrived, the museum felt like a treasure trove waiting to be uncovered. Guided by knowledgeable staff, we embarked on a structured tour that showcased different cultures from around the world, the intricate tapestries of India, the ancient artifacts of Egypt, and vibrant murals from Latin America. Every corner was filled with history, each piece a story longing to be shared. Seeing Diego animatedly share facts about the pieces that represented his culture was heartwarming. Other students gathered around, eager to learn and engage with him. It was gratifying to witness how far we had all come, breaking boundaries that once felt impossible. After the tour, we gathered in a spacious area for lunch. Different students showcased dishes from their cultures, sharing not just meals but heartwarming stories behind them. The excitement was palpable as laughter and chatter filled the air, each one contributing to a shared sense of belonging. As I sat back, reflecting on the unfolding scene, I felt a swell of pride. It wasn't just the diverse food being shared, it was the communal spirit we had fostered, an environment where everyone felt seen and heard. That day marked a culmination of our efforts, showcasing that individual stories mattered. It reinforced that every voice could contribute a unique note to our collective melody. As we packed up excitedly for the return trip, I looked at Diego. "We did it, man. This was amazing." He grinned, his eyes shining with joy. "And it's just the beginning. Imagine what more we can do in the years to come." With that thought, I felt a sense of hope bloom within me. Together, we had built a bridge, a way to cultivate understanding and acceptance in a world that often struggled with it. The journey was endless, but we were ready for it. Summer whispered promises of new adventures, and together, we felt equipped to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead, united in our purpose and our hearts. As summer turned to fall, the new school year began, and excitement filled the air. With our cultural club now a staple in our school, Diego and I organized meetings to discuss new initiatives. The energy from our successful museum trip lingered, inspiring everyone to take ownership of the club and contribute their ideas. One afternoon, as we gathered in the library, a student named Aisha brought up an idea. What if we host monthly cultural nights? Each month could highlight a different culture: movies, food, music, and even dance. The group buzzed with approval. "That would be amazing," I chimed in. "We can start with some student presentations." Diego clapped his hands, excitement radiating from him. "Let's kick it off with a Mexican night. We can share a food demo, play traditional music, and maybe even teach everyone a few dance steps." The plan evolved quickly, and the anticipation grew as we prepared for our first cultural night. Every club meeting was filled with laughter, scheming around food, decorations, and activities that would represent the culture we wanted to share. As the night of our first event approached, I noticed Diego becoming increasingly nervous. "What if people don't come?" he worried. "What if they don't enjoy it?" "Diego, this is about sharing who you are. The right kind of people will appreciate it," I reassured him. "Besides, we're doing this together. It's going to be fun." As we transformed the auditorium into a vibrant fiesta, the colorful papel picado decorations fluttered overhead, and the scent of spices wafted through the air. Students wandered in, some curious and others excited about what they would experience that night. When the event finally began, the energy was contagious. Diego opened with a heartfelt introduction, sharing the significance of each element we had planned for the evening. He looked confident, full of passion while talking about his roots and the culture he loved. As we moved through the evening, laughter ensued as students learned to make tortillas, and foot-tapping music brought everyone together. Eventually, I led a quick dance lesson, teaching everyone a few traditional steps. The room was filled with laughter and clumsiness as students tried to follow along, and I could see Diego's earlier nerves fading away, replaced by sheer joy. At some point, I stepped back and watched as the room pulsated with life, a melting pot of cultures celebrating one another. It was incredible to see how everyone engaged, and to witness students who had once felt isolated from each other forming bonds through shared experiences. By the end of the night, Diego was glowing with pride. "I can't believe we did this. Everyone seemed to love it," he said, high-fiving me as we cleaned up. "Of course, this is just the start," I exclaimed. "Imagine the impact we'll have as we continue to share all our cultures." The excitement from that night carried us forward, and together we planned more cultural nights, celebrating not only Mexico but also our friends' backgrounds, India, Korea, Italy, Brazil, and beyond. Each event became an opportunity for everyone to showcase who they were while fostering respect and understanding in our school community. But even amidst the success, challenges arose. As we pushed to include everyone, not everyone felt comfortable participating. Some students remained hesitant, unsure if their culture would be appreciated or welcomed. One day I overheard a few classmates whispering doubts about the cultural club. "It's just a way for them to show off. Why should we care?" a voice scoffed. I felt a twinge of frustration. Tossing aside the usual approach, I decided to address it head-on. I called an impromptu meeting, urging everyone to share their concerns openly. During that meeting, I encouraged my classmates to voice their thoughts openly. This is a space for everyone. If we truly want to build connections, we need to hear every voice, even the critical ones. Slowly, hands rose. A girl named Jessica spoke up. "I sometimes feel left out because I'm not connected to a specific culture. I don't want to be labeled or feel like I don't belong." The room turned solemn as others nodded in agreement. Diego looked at me, a kind of understanding passing between us. "This is exactly why we need to keep this conversation flowing," I said. "We're not just celebrating traditions, we're creating a community where all of us feel like we belong, regardless of background." With renewed purpose, we brainstormed ideas to make everyone feel welcomed. Diego suggested inviting non-member students to share their stories, providing a platform for anyone to feel celebrated. Through this challenge, the club gained stronger roots. It became a safe haven where everyone could voice their beliefs and insecurities without fear. The cultural club wasn't just about showcasing different backgrounds, it became a sincere effort to create understanding and unity. As we moved into winter, I felt that our journey was far from over. With every interaction, we promised to uphold an environment where all stories mattered, a continued endeavor we were proud to lead together. And as we faced the coming challenges, I realized, even in unity, growth awaited just beyond the horizon. The winter months flew by, filled with planning and executing cultural nights that showcased the diverse backgrounds of our classmates. Each event brought laughter and learning, creating a sense of belonging that echoed through the hallways of our school. We had successfully created a space where stories were shared and celebrated, but the journey of bridging gaps continued to unfold. One morning, as winter turned into spring, Diego approached me with a thoughtful expression. "You know, we've done so much for the club, but I think we should reach out to the rest of the community. There are so many people beyond our school who could benefit from what we're doing." I nodded, intrigued. "What do you have in mind?" "What if we organized a community festival? We could invite local families, showcase performances, and create a marketplace for homemade food and crafts," he suggested, his eyes shining with excitement. The idea felt monumental but transformative. "That could bring our message of unity to a larger audience," I replied. "If we collaborate with local businesses and community centers, we could make it happen." Fueled by Diego's enthusiasm, we gathered our cultural club members to pitch the idea. The room erupted with ideas, and together we brainstormed ways to involve local families and businesses. We decided to call it the Unity Festival, a celebration of diversity where everyone could share their culture through food, art, and performance. As we reached out to community leaders and local businesses, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Many expressed excitement about participating and offered to help in any way they could. With each partnership we formed, our vision began taking shape. In the weeks leading up to the event, the energy within the club was electric. We organized meetings every week, planning logistics, marketing, and activities. Diego took charge of coordinating the food vendors, ensuring a wide array of cuisines represented. Other members took on responsibilities for organizing dance performances, art displays, and workshops. As the festival date loomed closer, I began to feel the weight of the project, but also the thrill of what we would achieve together. It was no longer just about showcasing our cultures. It was about building a bridge between our school and the community, fostering understanding and appreciation. Finally, the day of the Unity Festival arrived. The park was transformed into a colorful hub of activity, with stalls set up from various cultures and tables adorned with vibrant decorations. The air buzzed with laughter, music, and the enticing aromas of diverse foods. As families began to arrive, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Diego and I stood at our booth, welcoming attendees with enthusiastic smiles. "Welcome to the Unity Festival. Please enjoy some delicious tacos," he called out, handing out samples. People flooded in, and soon the park was buzzing with life. Children ran to the arts and crafts area, where they could try their hand at traditional decorations, while families gathered around to watch dance performances showcasing various cultural expressions. Throughout the day, I noticed how conversations flowed between people who might never have interacted otherwise. Friends were made over shared meals, laughter resonated through the crowd, and barriers of misunderstanding began to dissolve. As we moved through the festival, Diego caught my attention. "Let's take a moment and appreciate how far we've come," he said, his eyes reflecting the joy around us. "Yeah, it's amazing to see everyone coming together. This is what we wanted," I said, beaming with pride. With the sun setting, I grabbed the microphone and gathered everyone's attention for a brief speech. "Thank you all for joining us today at the Unity Festival. This gathering isn't just about food and performances, it's about celebrating who we are as a community. Each of you plays a vital role in making our world a more accepting place." Applause erupted, and I turned to look at Diego, who was grinning from ear to ear. Together, we had poured our hearts into this project, and it was paying off in ways we'd never envisioned. As the evening continued, the festival's energy remained high. Volunteers mingled with guests, sharing stories about their cultures and the significance behind their traditions. The experience felt enriching, reminding everyone of our shared humanity and the beauty that comes from embracing our differences. As the festival wrapped up, we hugged each other, high-fiving our team for a successful day. Diego looked at me, his expression a mix of exhaustion and joy. "We did it, man. I can't believe this actually came together." "Absolutely, we took something we believed in and turned it into a reality," I replied, pride swelling within me. That night, as I lay in bed, I reflected on the journey we had taken together. We weren't just students learning about each other. We had become catalysts for change, building bridges between cultures and fostering a sense of belonging for all. In the months to come, the Unity Festival would become an annual event, solidifying our commitment to celebrating diversity in our community. And as we stepped into the future, I knew that Diego and I, alongside our peers, had created something truly remarkable, a legacy of unity that would continue to inspire those around us. As spring blossomed into summer, the success of the Unity Festival began to ripple through the community. Our school became known for its commitment to diversity, and students from neighboring schools expressed interest in joining the cultural club or participating in future events. It was deeply rewarding to see how our efforts were inspiring others to embrace their stories. Diego and I spent our summer planning for the next festival, excited but determined to elevate it even further. We brainstormed ideas, wanting to include more workshops, performances, and interactive activities that represented different cultures even more richly. One evening, while we were reviewing feedback from attendees, Diego said, "We should create a scholarship fund that supports students from diverse backgrounds so they can pursue their dreams." "That's a fantastic idea. We can tie it into the festival, maybe have a portion of the proceeds go towards it," I suggested. With our enthusiasm, we set out to present this new idea to Ms. Carter and our school administration. They were supportive and agreed to help us set up the scholarship initiative, making it a permanent aspect of the festival. As the planning resumed, we encountered some bumps along the way. Not everyone in our community was entirely receptive to our message of unity. Some individuals pushed back against the idea of celebrating diversity, raising concerns that might alienate those who didn't feel connected to a specific culture. I felt a mix of frustration and determination. We had worked so hard to build this platform, and it was disheartening to think that not everyone embraced what we stood for. Diego sensed my agitation and reminded me, "Focus on the positive. For every person who doubts us, there are so many more who support our vision." With his encouragement, we continued steering our efforts toward those who understood the importance of inclusion. During our meetings, we invited students to share their views, emphasizing the value of diverse perspectives in shaping our community. As the next Unity Festival approached, we shared stories of students who had benefited from the scholarship fund, emphasizing the personal touch and real impact of what we were doing. Diego created promotional material highlighting past recipients' journeys, showing how their experiences made them who they were and why supporting diversity was crucial. On the day of the festival, excitement filled the air once again. The park was alive with colors, laughter, and the scent of food. More families showed up than we could have anticipated, visibly eager to join in the celebration. The atmosphere was electric, with people chatting, eating, and participating in the activities. Diego kicked off the event with a heartfelt speech, sharing the importance of unity amidst diversity. He spoke passionately about our commitment to understanding one another and celebrating our unique backgrounds. The crowd listened intently, engaged by his enthusiasm and sincerity. As activities began, stations filled with crafts, dance lessons, and cooking demos drew in attendees. Families from various backgrounds mingled, sharing stories and recipes, much like the first festival but with an added depth this time. The scholarship initiative was presented, and visitors could contribute to help fund it, connecting the celebration to a powerful cause. Later in the day, we introduced the first scholarship recipient, a senior named Maria, who wowed us with her story of overcoming challenges while pursuing her love for engineering. Her emotional speech struck a chord with attendees, and the applause that followed was hearty and genuine. It highlighted exactly why we were doing this. As the evening drew to a close, Diego and I stood off to the side, watching attendees enjoy the festival. The hours had passed in a whirlwind, and we were both exhausted but exhilarated. "This was amazing," Diego said, his smile beaming with pride. "It really was. I can't believe how far we've come since the taco night," I replied, feeling immensely grateful for the journey we'd taken together. The festival wasn't just a celebration. It had become a testament to the hard work, collaboration, and genuine connections we had cultivated. The unity we had envisioned was radiating throughout the community, creating waves of change that resonated deeper than we could have imagined. As we began to pack up, a younger student approached us. "Can I be part of the cultural club? I want to help and learn about different cultures." Diego and I exchanged glances, a warmth spreading through us. "Of course, we'd love to have you join," I replied, feeling a sense of fulfillment. That moment underscored the significance of our efforts. By inviting new voices into our journey, we ensured our legacy of unity would continue to ripple through generations. Together, we had not just embraced diversity, we had fundamentally redefined what it meant to be a community. Looking ahead, I realized our work wasn't finished. Instead, it was evolving. We had sparked something powerful, an ongoing celebration that would inspire others long after we had graduated. And as I departed that evening, the warmth of the day lingered in my heart. We had built not only a festival, but a future filled with hope, connection, and the promise of understanding. As summer faded into autumn, the momentum from the Unity Festival carried on. The Cultural Club quickly became one of the most popular organizations at school, attracting students eager to join. With each new student, our vision expanded further, creating a lively and enthusiastic environment where every voice mattered. Diego and I felt a sense of pride as we watched younger members take initiative, suggesting fresh ideas that injected new life into the club. One afternoon, a sophomore named Sam proposed, "What if we partner with a local charity and organize a cultural awareness week leading up to next year's festival?" The idea sparked a lively discussion. We all brainstormed ways to incorporate educational workshops, film screenings, and guest speakers who could share their experiences. Over the next few weeks, excitement flourished as we reached out to organizations, planning a week filled with activities that would educate our peers about the importance of cultural awareness and respect. As the planning intensified, I watched Diego step into a leadership role. He facilitated meetings, encouraged participation, and effortlessly united everyone's ideas into a cohesive plan. His natural charisma and passion for our mission drew even more students into volunteering, turning the project into a community effort. The week finally arrived, and the energy around school was palpable. The first day kicked off with an assembly where we invited local cultural leaders to share their stories. As each speaker took the stage, they explained their struggles and triumphs, weaving a tapestry of experiences that resonated deeply with students. Diego stood off to the side, beaming with pride. "We're really making a difference," he remarked as we watched our peers sit captivated by the speakers. The following days showcased film screenings of documentaries about different cultures, followed by discussions that invited students to share their thoughts and questions. Workshops on cooking traditional dishes, learning dances, and even language sessions filled the schedule, creating an engaging and immersive experience for everyone involved. I found solace in the discussions that emerged from the events. Students who once sat quietly in class began to engage. They shared not only their experiences, but also their fears and uncertainties about embracing their identities. Through mutual understanding, walls began to break down, replaced with empathy and camaraderie. On the final day of our Cultural Awareness Week, we closed with a talent show featuring performances from students showcasing various artistic skills: singing, dancing, poetry, and storytelling. The auditorium overflowed with proud parents, classmates, and community members eager to witness the talent on display. As I sat in the audience, I noticed the joy on everyone's faces. Many of the performers dedicated their pieces to their culture, celebrating their backgrounds in ways that resonated deeply with us all. When it was Diego's turn, he commanded the stage as he shared a traditional Mexican song, pouring his heart into each note. When the performance concluded, the applause was thunderous. I felt an overwhelming sense of belonging wash over me. We had created a space where every student felt valued, and every story had the potential to inspire others. As the night wrapped up, Diego and I spoke to the students about our future goals for the cultural club. "This is just the beginning," I said, looking around at the eager faces in front of us. "Together, we can continue to make an impact, share our stories, and learn from one another." That evening, as we cleaned up, a familiar sense of fulfillment settled within me. We had taken our initial dream of unity and transformation and ignited it into a movement that was greater than ourselves. Months passed, and as the next Unity Festival loomed closer, our community continued to thrive. The energy that once existed solely among our peers now spread beyond school, sparking interest in local community gatherings and collaborative events. One evening, with the sun setting in gorgeous hues over the city, I found myself sitting with Diego at a local cafe, sipping hot chocolate. "Can you believe how far we've come?" he asked, looking genuinely happy. "Honestly, no. It's been amazing to see everything unfold," I replied, grateful for his friendship and partnership. Diego's expression shifted to seriousness as he added, "You know, I've been thinking about what our next step should be. This isn't just a school thing anymore. It goes beyond that." "What do you mean?" I asked, sensing the weight behind his words. "What if we extended our reach to other schools? We could host workshops to inspire students in different communities, encouraging them to celebrate their cultures too. We could create a network of clubs that support and empower each other," he suggested, his eyes shining with possibility. The idea struck a chord within me. That's ambitious but inspiring. If we can connect with more students, we can foster unity on a larger scale. It could change so many lives. As we exchanged ideas, I felt a surge of excitement about the future. The work we had begun was just a stepping stone toward a broader mission. We were committed to unearthing a legacy that could inspire and connect countless individuals across communities. With our newfound determination, we began brainstorming ways to connect with other schools, planning outreach campaigns to share our vision of unity and cultural awareness. And as we set our sights on the future, I realized our journey was far from over. We had planted seeds of understanding, respect, and celebration, and now it was time to watch them grow, extending the roots of our mission into new horizons. Together, we would make a lasting impact, transforming our communities and building a brighter world for the generations yet to come. With our plans set to extend our mission beyond our school, Diego and I dedicated our weeks to reaching out to nearby high schools. We wrote letters to administrators, spoke at student council meetings, and contacted local youth organizations. The response was overwhelmingly positive. Many schools were eager to collaborate and explore cultural exchange. As we prepared for our first joint meeting with students from another school, I felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Would our vision resonate with them? Would they embrace the idea of celebrating diversity? On the day of the meeting, we arrived at Eastside High's auditorium, my heart racing with anticipation. A diverse group of students filled the room, curious faces turned toward us, eager to learn what we had to share. Diego and I took center stage, nervous yet determined. "Hi, everyone, we're thrilled to have you here today," I started, looking around at the engaged audience. "This meeting is about creating a culture of acceptance, understanding, and unity among our schools." As I spoke, I noticed students nodding, intrigued by our approach. Diego chimed in, "We've seen the impact of celebrating our differences at our school and want to inspire you to do the same." We introduced our vision for cultural nights and community festivals, sharing stories of the connections we had made over the past year. As we discussed the scholarship fund, I could see the spark of interest igniting in the eyes of our audience. After our presentation, we opened the floor for discussion. Students shared their own experiences, many revealing challenges they faced in their schools regarding acceptance and understanding. Each story echoed with a common theme, a desire for connection and a willingness to make a change. "The idea of collaborating with our cultural club sounds amazing. We need this at our school," one student remarked, her excitement infectious. With their enthusiasm, we organized a brainstorming session, asking for ideas on how to create events that highlighted each other's cultures. Each student contributed unique perspectives and suggestions, enriching our vision even further. As the meeting concluded, we exchanged contact information and made plans for future collaborations. This initial connection felt like the beginning of something significant, a bridge between our communities. The following weeks were filled with planning and coordination as we prepared for our first joint event, a cultural showcase festival. Students from both schools contributed, bringing their unique traditions and experiences to the table. As the festival date drew nearer, anticipation soared. We organized performances, art displays, food booths, and interactive workshops. The excitement was palpable, and everyone was eager to showcase their culture while learning about others. On the day of the festival, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. Colorful banners adorned the venue, and the scents of various cuisines filled the air, creating a vibrant tapestry of sights and sounds. Students from both schools mingled, excited to connect and learn. The festival kicked off with welcoming speeches from both Diego and me, emphasizing the significance of unity and understanding. As we introduced the first performances, traditional dances and music from various cultures, the crowd erupted in applause, enthusiasm contagious. Throughout the day, attendees roamed from booth to booth, engaging in interactive activities. They learned new skills, such as how to make spring rolls or get tips on traditional dancing. Each interaction sparked conversation and connection, forging bonds that transcended school boundaries. During a quiet moment, I spotted a group of students gathered around Diego, who was enthusiastically explaining the history behind one of the Mexican folk dances. The joy on his face as he shared his culture was heartwarming, a reminder of how our journey had come full circle. As the sun began to set, the festival reached its pinnacle. We showcased our collective talents, culminating in an open mic segment where students could share stories, poems, or songs representative of their cultures. The atmosphere brimmed with excitement, each performance receiving applause and cheers. When Diego took the stage to perform a traditional Mexican song, I watched as he poured his heart into the music, his voice soaring. It felt like a culmination of everything we had worked toward: culture celebrated, individuality embraced, and connections made. As the festival concluded and attendees began to disperse, a huge sense of accomplishment filled the air. Students from both schools had united, sharing laughter and stories, and forming friendships that would last beyond this event. In the weeks that followed, we watched as connections deepened between our schools. Students began collaborating on projects, attending each other's events, and forging lifelong friendships. The Cultural Showcase Festival became an annual tradition, growing larger and inspiring even more students to embrace their identities and narratives. Looking back on our journey, I realized that we had not only built connections between students, but also fostered a culture of understanding that extended beyond school walls. We had planted the seeds of unity that would continue to flourish in our communities. As Diego and I sat together one evening, reflecting on our progress, he said, "Can you imagine how many lives we've touched through this journey? It's just the beginning, isn't it?" I nodded, excitement filling my heart. Absolutely. This is our chance to create a legacy, to inspire generations to come. Together, we can keep building bridges and celebrating the beauty in our differences. With renewed determination and a shared vision, we knew our work was far from complete. We had opened doors to understanding and acceptance, and we were ready to continue spreading our message further. A future of unity awaited us, and together, we would embrace every opportunity to make the world a better place. As the new school year began, the momentum from our collaborative efforts continued to build. News of our festivals and cultural showcases spread beyond just our two schools, capturing the attention of local media and community leaders. There was a growing recognition of the importance of celebrating diversity and creating spaces where all voices could be heard. With the start of the year, Diego and I were approached by the district superintendent, who invited us to present our initiative to other schools in the district. This was an incredible opportunity to share our vision and inspire even more students to embrace cultural awareness. When the day of the presentation arrived, we stood before a room filled with educators and administrators, both nervous and excited. Diego started, sharing our journey and the impact our cultural club had made on our campuses. As we spoke about the challenges we faced and the triumphs we celebrated, I watched the faces of our audience as they leaned in, engaged by our story. Each milestone we shared resonated with them, reinforcing the importance of fostering a culture of inclusivity. By the time we wrapped up our presentation, we received enthusiastic applause. Educators approached us afterward, eager to learn how they could implement similar initiatives in their schools. We handed out materials that detailed our plans, including how to organize cultural events and build supportive communities. Weeks turned into months, and soon our initiative began to branch out. More schools joined us, creating a district-wide network of cultural clubs that shared resources, organized joint events, and fostered meaningful connections among students. Every month, we hosted new events, inviting students from different schools to come together to share their cultures through workshops, performances, and discussions. Each gathering was more vibrant than the last, evidence of the ripple effect we had created. As spring approached, we began planning for the upcoming Unity Festival, which had become the highlight of our cultural calendar. The anticipation was palpable, with students eager to see what we had in store for the year. This time around, we were able to secure partnerships with local businesses and organizations that offered sponsorships. With this support, we expanded the festival, featuring more booths and activities than ever before. Our vision of bringing together the community was becoming a reality, and it filled me with pride. On the day of the festival, as I walked through the park, I was struck by the energy and diversity surrounding me. Families gathered, laughter filled the air, and the streets were lined with colorful displays. Diego and I moved through the crowd, greeting familiar faces and welcoming newcomers. When the time came for the opening speeches, I took a moment to look out at the sea of eager attendees. Today, we come together not just to celebrate our differences, but to honor the connections we've made and the unity we continue to build, I began. Diego followed, addressing the crowd with an enthusiasm that ignited everyone's spirits. The journey we've taken together proves that when we share our stories, we embrace our humanity. Let's continue to learn from one another and create a future filled with understanding. The festival unfolded beautifully, with performances highlighting the unique talents of students from across the district. Each dance, song, and story shared filled the hearts of those in attendance, illustrating the rich tapestry of our diverse community. As the day came to a close, I couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of joy. Each event, every connection made, and the lives touched were a testament to what had begun as a small cultural club. We had ignited a movement that spread not just through our high schools, but into the community and beyond. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Diego and I reflected on the journey. "We've created something incredible together," he said, a smile stretching across his face. "Yeah, and it's just the beginning," I replied, feeling hopeful for what lay ahead. With the encouragement of our peers and the community behind us, we were ready to take the next steps in pushing for even greater change. We envisioned cultural education programs, outreach in local neighborhoods, and partnerships with community organizations that could further empower individuals to share their stories. As we looked forward to the future, I felt a sense of purpose. Together, we had built a legacy of unity, resilience, and love. The seeds we planted were beginning to flourish, ensuring that the message of understanding and acceptance would carry forward. In that moment, I knew we had made our mark on the world. Our journey was far from over, but we were committed to nourishing this legacy, ensuring that the values we nurtured would continue to bloom for generations to come. Together, we would embrace the challenges and celebrate the victories, forging a path where diversity was honored and every voice mattered.